Sometimes the loudest feelings are the quietest ones. A man may never come right out and say, "I like you," but his actions, those little unspoken gestures, have a way of slipping through the cracks. And if you've ever found yourself wondering, does he like me, or am I just imagining things? Then you already know how confusing it can feel. The truth is, when a man is afraid to admit his feelings, he doesn't stop showing them. He simply shows them differently. Think about it. Maybe you've noticed the way his eyes linger on you a second longer than they should, only for him to look away the moment you catch him. Or maybe he laughs at your jokes, even the ones no one else finds funny. These aren't accidents, they're signs. They're pieces of a puzzle that, when put together, tell the story of someone who feels more than he's ready to confess. Why does he hide it? Fear. Fear of rejection, fear of ruining a friendship, fear of being too vulnerable. For some men, admitting their emotions out loud feels like stepping off a cliff without knowing what's below. So instead, they hold back their words, but let their behavior do the talking. And if you're paying attention, those behaviors can reveal everything you need to know. The beautiful thing about hidden affection is that it's often more genuine than words. Words can be rehearsed, polished, even faked. But nervous laughter, subtle glances, or the way he goes out of his way to be near you, those come from a place too deep to disguise. They're instinctive, natural, real. You don't have to guess what a man says when you can see what a man does. In this guide, we're diving into the 15 subtle but powerful signs that a man truly likes you, even if he's too afraid to admit it. These aren't the over-the-top gestures you see in movies or read about in romance novels. These are the everyday clues, the quiet things he does when he thinks no one is paying attention, that reveal the truth. By the time you finish, you'll see patterns you might not have noticed before. You'll understand why he remembers the smallest details about you, why his voice shifts when he talks to you, why he seems different compared to how he treats everyone else. And most importantly, you'll learn how to tell the difference between simple friendliness and genuine hidden affection. So if you've ever caught yourself replaying his actions in your head, wondering why he looks away, why he lingers near you, why he suddenly grows quiet when others flirt with you, this is your answer. His silence has meaning. His nervousness has purpose. His little gestures are bigger than they seem. He stares at you when he thinks you're not looking. He stares at you when he thinks you're not looking. That one tiny detail holds more weight than words could ever carry. A man who secretly likes you but is too afraid to say it out loud often reveals his feelings through his eyes. His glance is not casual, not the way you'd look at just anyone passing by. It's longer, softer, almost hesitant, as if he's studying every little thing about you. The way you smile, how you move, the expressions you make when you talk. It's his quiet way of being close without actually crossing the invisible line his fear keeps him behind. When you're in a room, his eyes are naturally drawn to you, even if he tries to play it off. He might look away quickly the moment you catch him, pretending to be distracted, pretending he wasn't focused on you at all. But the truth is, those stolen glances are his safest space, the only way he allows himself to show what's buried inside. For him, watching you from a distance is both comfort and torture. Comfort because he gets to admire you without risking rejection. Torture because he can't bring himself to step forward and say what he feels. You might notice that he looks at you during the most ordinary moments, when you're speaking to someone else, when you're laughing, or even when you're just sitting quietly. These are the times he sees you most authentically, and that's exactly what draws him in deeper. It's not about appearances or trying to be impressed. It's about the way you make him feel simply by being yourself. His stare isn't meant to make you uncomfortable. It's his hidden confession, one he's too scared to voice. And every time his eyes linger on you, it's a silent admission of the affection he's keeping locked inside. He quickly looks away when you catch his gaze. That single action can reveal more than hours of conversation ever could. A man who secretly likes you but is afraid to admit it often betrays himself in this way. His eyes can't resist finding you, but the moment yours meet his, Panic takes over. He pulls his gaze away, as though being caught is the most dangerous thing in the world. It's not rejection he fears, it's exposure. Looking at you feels safe until you notice, and then suddenly, his feelings are no longer hidden behind that invisible curtain. This quick glance away isn't a sign of disinterest, though it may look like it on the surface. It's actually proof that you have a powerful effect on him. If he didn't care, his eyes would meet yours naturally, without hesitation. But the rush of emotion that floods him when your eyes lock makes him retreat. His heart races, his thoughts stumble, and he worries you might see too much if he lingers for even a second longer. You may notice this happening more than once, almost like a pattern. He'll be watching you across the room, and when you look back, he suddenly finds the floor, his phone, or the wall more interesting. Sometimes he'll even try to cover it with a nervous smile, or he'll start a random conversation with someone nearby just to make it less obvious. But deep down, that flicker of avoidance is his way of protecting himself from vulnerability. It's the paradox of hidden affection. He wants to see you, to take in every moment of your presence, yet he can't handle the risk of you realizing what those looks mean. Each time he looks away quickly, it's not rejection. It's an unspoken confession that he feels more than he can say. He remembers small details about you. He remembers small details about you, the kind that most people would overlook or forget in an instant. A man who secretly likes you but hides his feelings often proves it through his memory. It's not the big, obvious things that stand out to him. It's the little moments, the small fragments of who you are that most people would never bother holding on to. Maybe you casually mentioned your favorite snack one day, or talked about a song you loved months ago, and suddenly he brings it up as if it was only yesterday. That isn't coincidence. That's intention. When a man remembers those small details, it's because he's listening in a way others don't. He pays attention, storing away pieces of you like they're treasures, because to him, they are. He notices the way you take your coffee, the color you always gravitate toward when you shop, or the story you told once about your childhood pet. These things matter to him because you matter to him. Remembering is his way of being close to you without needing to say the words directly. What makes it even more revealing is the effortlessness of it. He doesn't need to keep notes. He doesn't need to try hard. He simply remembers because you've left a mark on him. It shows that he's not just hearing your words, he's absorbing them. He carries them with him because they're tied to the emotions you stir inside him. And when he brings up these little details, it's almost always casual, as if he's afraid of showing how much he cares. He may phrase it lightly. Didn't you say you like that place? But underneath that simple question lies a quiet truth. He notices you more than anyone else. Remembering the small details isn't just thoughtfulness. It's love in disguise, spoken through memory instead of words. He gets nervous or fidgety around you. He gets nervous or fidgety around you, and that reaction speaks volumes about the way he feels. A man who truly likes you but is afraid to admit it often loses his usual calm when you're near. Maybe he's confident around everyone else, but when it comes to you, his hands won't stay still, his words stumble, and his energy shifts. It's not that he doesn't know how to act. It's that his feelings are so strong, they break through the walls he normally hides behind. You might notice the little things. He plays with his phone without reason, taps his fingers on the table, adjusts his clothes too often, or laughs at things that aren't even that funny. These nervous habits aren't random. They're his body's way of coping with the rush of emotions you stir inside him. The closer you are, the harder it gets for him to mask that nervous energy. Even his voice may betray him. He might talk too fast, stumble over his words, or pause, awkwardly as if he's suddenly forgotten how normal conversations work. Around others, he might be perfectly smooth. But with you, he's different. That difference is a clear signal. Your presence matters more than he wants you to realize. Sometimes he'll even try to cover it up, making jokes to distract from his fidgeting or pretending he's just tired, but his body keeps giving him away. His nervousness isn't about fear of you. It's about fear of revealing himself. He worries that one wrong word or action could expose what he's been hiding, that he likes you more than he's ready to admit. Those restless movements, The awkward laughter, the constant shifting, they're not signs of discomfort with you. They're proof that you mean enough to him to unsettle his carefully controlled world. His nerves are just another form of confession, spoken in silence through trembling hands and restless energy. 5. He mirrors your body language unconsciously. He mirrors your body language unconsciously, and that subtle act reveals a truth he doesn't dare say out loud. When a man secretly likes you but is afraid to admit it, his body often betrays him, before his words ever could. Without realizing it, he begins to copy the way you sit, the way you move your hands, even the pace at which you talk or breathe. It's not calculated, it's instinct. Humans naturally mirror the people they feel most connected to, and when he does it around you, it's his hidden way of showing alignment and attraction. Picture this. You cross your legs, and moments later, he does the same. You lean forward in your chair, and suddenly he leans too. You take a sip of your drink, and within seconds, so does he. These little reflections aren't coincidences. They're signs of the unspoken bond he feels. His body is trying to be in sync with yours, creating a rhythm that pulls him closer to you without him even realizing it. Sometimes the mirroring is emotional too. If you laugh, he laughs, even if he didn't fully catch the joke. If you sigh, he grows quiet, almost absorbing your mood. It's as if his emotions are wired to follow yours, not out of obligation, but out of genuine connection. He doesn't plan it. He doesn't think about it. It just happens because his feelings for you run deeper than his control. What makes this sign so powerful is that it comes straight from his subconscious. He could hide his words, control his expressions, even look away when you catch him staring. But mirroring is different. It slips through unnoticed, revealing the closeness he wishes he could express openly. Every time he mirrors your body language, it's like his heart is whispering the words his lips are too afraid to say. I like you. I want to be near you. I feel what you feel. He finds excuses to be near you. He finds excuses to be near you. And that behavior is one of the clearest signals of hidden affection. A man who secretly likes you but doesn't have the courage to confess will often let his actions do the talking. You'll notice that he seems to just happen to be around, even when there's no real reason for him to be. Maybe he suddenly appears in the same hallway, joins a group only after you're already there, or lingers longer than necessary when you're nearby. These aren't accidents. They're quiet strategies to keep himself close without exposing his feelings outright. Sometimes his excuses are small, almost laughably transparent. He might ask for help with something he could easily do himself, or strike up a random conversation about the most ordinary topic, just so he has a reason to stand near you. If you're at work, maybe he needs your opinion on a project. If you're at school, maybe he forgot a pen and borrows yours. If you're in a group, he'll find a way to sit beside you or hover close enough to feel included in your space. What makes this so revealing is the consistency. One time could be coincidence, but when he always seems to find his way back into your orbit, it's because he doesn't want to miss a moment of being near you. His presence becomes his comfort, his chance to feel connected without risking the vulnerability of a confession. Even when he doesn't speak much, being physically close allows him to feel like he belongs in your world. For him, proximity is intimacy. It's the one thing he can control when words fail him. Every time he finds a reason to stand beside you, to walk with you, to linger just a little longer, it's his silent way of saying, I want to be close to you, even if I can't tell you why. He teases you playfully but not harshly. He teases you playfully but not harshly, and that subtle difference carries more meaning than it seems. A man who secretly likes you, yet fears confessing, often uses lighthearted teasing as a safe outlet for his feelings. It's his way of creating a connection without stepping too far into vulnerability. The jokes he makes aren't cruel or cutting. They're gentle, designed to make you laugh or blush rather than hurt. Through this playfulness, he builds a private rhythm between you, a language that feels like it belongs only to the two of you. His teasing might be about small things, maybe the way you always order the same drink, the expressions you make when you're thinking hard, or the fact that you walk fast when you're excited. These are details he notices because he's paying attention. By turning them into jokes, he gets to highlight his awareness of you while keeping the mood light and safe. If you laugh, he feels closer to you. If you playfully tease him back, it creates a back-and-forth dynamic that strengthens your bond without either of you needing to put your hearts fully on the line. Often, you'll sense warmth beneath his words, his tone, his smile, the sparkle in his eyes. All of it shows that his teasing isn't meant to push you away but to draw you in. It's a careful balance. He wants to make you feel noticed, but he doesn't want to risk going too far. And sometimes that very restraint reveals his feelings even more. This playful banter becomes his shield and his confession at the same time. It's safe because he can always brush it off as a joke, but deep down, it's his attempt at intimacy. Every time he teases you gently, what he's really saying is, I see you, I notice you, and I want to be close to you, even if I can only show it in laughter. He gets quiet when others show interest in you. He gets quiet when others show interest in you. And that silence often says more than words ever could. A man who secretly likes you but is afraid to confess will struggle when he sees someone else stepping into the space he wishes he could claim. Instead of competing openly or expressing his feelings, he retreats into quietness, almost as if he's protecting himself from the sting of jealousy. His silence isn't disinterest. It's his way of managing emotions he doesn't yet know how to handle. You might notice the shift instantly. One moment he's laughing, talking, and relaxed, and the next he grows distant, his smile fading. The second another person compliments you or leans closer to you. He may not say anything, but his body language changes. He avoids eye contact, fidgets, or withdraws into the background. It's not because he doesn't want to be there. It's because being there suddenly hurts. For him, those moments feel like a reminder of what he hasn't dared to admit. Watching someone else express interest makes his own feelings feel even more real, and with that comes the fear of losing something he never allowed himself to have. So he chooses silence over confrontation, hoping to hide the storm inside him. Sometimes his quietness comes with subtle giveaways, a forced laugh, a glance that lingers too long, or a sudden excuse to leave the room. Deep down he wishes it were him making you laugh, him standing closer, him being bold enough to claim what he feels. But since he can't, he shrinks back, holding his emotions in his silence. That quiet isn't emptiness, it's longing restrained. Every time he goes still when someone else shows interest in you, it's his heart whispering what he doesn't yet dare to say, I wish it were me. He checks your social media often. And that habit reveals more than he'd ever admit out loud. A man who secretly likes you but hides his feelings will often turn to the digital world as a safer space to be close to you. Online, there's no risk of rejection, no fear of giving himself away too obviously. So he scrolls, he lingers, and he pays attention to the little pieces of your life you choose to share. Every photo, every post, every update becomes a window into your world that he can quietly admire from the sidelines. You may notice that he's one of the first people to view your stories, sometimes almost every time you post. He might like your photos consistently, or even more telling, he likes the ones that aren't the most recent. Proof that he's been scrolling back further than necessary. Maybe he even leaves comments, lighthearted and safe, but frequent enough to remind you he's there. It's his way of keeping a connection without the risk of standing face to face with his emotions. For him, checking your social media is both comfort and curiosity. Comfort, because he feels closer to you when he sees glimpses of your life. Curiosity, because he's eager to know what you're doing, who you're with, and what matters to you. He may not reach out directly, but through those clicks and views, he stays quietly present. What makes it most revealing is the consistency. Anyone can casually check once in a while, but if he's always there, always engaged in some way, it's because he can't resist. His interest isn't casual, it's personal. Every time he checks your social media, it's his hidden confession, a digital version of his feelings. He may not say the words, but his actions online whisper the truth. You're always on his mind. 10. He laughs at your jokes, even the silly ones. He laughs at your jokes, even the silly ones. And that reaction is rarely just about humor. A man who secretly likes you but doesn't have the courage to confess often finds himself laughing more easily around you than he does with others. Even the simplest, most ordinary thing you say can make him smile. It's not that every word you speak is the funniest thing in the world. It's that you are the one saying it, and that alone makes it feel special to him. His laughter isn't only about the joke. It's about showing you that he's tuned into you, that he enjoys your presence, that he wants you to feel valued and heard. You may notice that his laughter comes quickly, sometimes almost too quickly, like he doesn't want you to think your effort went unnoticed. Even when your joke is dry or a little offbeat, he still finds a way to chuckle, and his eyes often give him away more than his voice. There's warmth in the way he reacts, as if he's not just laughing at the punchline, but at the way you light up when you're trying to be funny. Sometimes his laughter is softer, almost shy, paired with a smile that lingers longer than necessary. Other times he laughs louder than the situation calls for, overcompensating because he wants you to feel encouraged. Either way, it's rarely about the joke itself. It's about the joy he feels simply in sharing the moment with you. This kind of response is instinctive. He can't help it. Laughter becomes his shield and his bridge at the same time. It lets him hide the depth of his feelings while also giving him a way to connect with you without risk. Every laugh, whether small or big, is his way of saying, "I like being around you. You make my world lighter just by being in it." He tries to impress you subtly. And that quiet effort often speaks louder than grand gestures ever could. A man who secretly likes you but is afraid to admit it won't always shower you with obvious declarations. Instead, he'll slip his feelings into the little ways he carries himself when you're around. Maybe he straightens up his posture when you walk into the room, suddenly putting more confidence in his stance. Maybe he casually mentions something he achieved, not to brag, but to let you see that he's capable, strong, or talented. These moments aren't random. They're carefully placed signals meant to catch your attention without making it look intentional. He might find ways to show his skills in everyday settings, like helping someone fix something quickly, joining in a conversation where he can contribute knowledge, or even putting extra effort into his appearance on the days he knows he'll see you. None of it is exaggerated to the point of arrogance. It's always done with a quiet hope that you'll notice. He doesn't want to overwhelm you, but he does want you to see him in the best possible light. Sometimes these attempts are even softer, almost invisible to anyone else. He might hold the door a little longer for you, offer help before you ask, or remember to bring you something small that connects to a conversation you once had. To others, it might seem like simple politeness, but to him, it's deliberate. It's his way of saying, "I want to matter to you." What makes this sign so telling is the mix of pride and vulnerability behind it. He wants to be someone you admire, someone you see as valuable, yet he's too cautious to lay it bare. So, he hides his feelings in subtle displays, little sparks of effort designed to shine in your eyes. Every quiet attempt to impress is his heart's way of whispering, "Notice me because I already notice you more than anyone else." He listens carefully to everything you say. And that level of attention is never accidental. A man who secretly likes you but is too afraid to confess often reveals his feelings through his focus. When you talk, he doesn't just hear your words, he absorbs them, storing each detail like something precious. Even if the conversation seems casual to you, he treats it like it matters, because you matter. That kind of listening goes beyond courtesy. It's emotional investment disguised as attentiveness. You might notice that he remembers conversations most people would forget. Something you said weeks ago can resurface in the way he responds, or in the questions he asks later. If you mention that you're stressed about a project, he might quietly check in on you days afterward, just to see how it went. If you talk about a favorite book, movie, or food, he'll recall it later, weaving it naturally into the conversation. This isn't random. This is his way of keeping your world alive in his own. The way he listens also shows in his body language. He leans in slightly when you speak, makes eye contact, and doesn't rush to interrupt. Even in a group, when many voices are competing for attention, his focus is anchored on you. It's as if he's tuned out the noise around him just to catch your words, your tone, your expressions. What makes this so powerful is the quietness of it. He's not listening to reply quickly or to impress you with clever answers. He's listening because he genuinely wants to understand you. That depth of focus is rare, and it's one of the clearest signs of affection he can't say aloud. Every time he listens so closely, what he's really confessing is, "Your voice matters to me more than anyone else's, and I don't want to miss a single piece of you." Freeze. He acts protective without making it obvious. He acts protective without making it obvious, and that behavior is one of the strongest hidden signs of his feelings. A man who secretly likes you but hasn't confessed will often find subtle ways to look out for you, even if he never calls it protecting. It shows up in the little things, like making sure you get home safely, slowing down his pace so you don't walk alone, or subtly positioning himself on the side of the sidewalk closer to traffic. These gestures might seem small, but they reveal a natural instinct. He wants you safe, and he wants to be the one ensuring it. You'll notice he doesn't make a show of it. He's not loud or dramatic about his care, because that would risk exposing just how much he feels. Instead, he folds his protectiveness into everyday actions. If you're at a crowded place, he might guide you gently through the space. If the weather turns cold, he might casually offer his jacket, pretending it's no big deal. If someone speaks harshly to you, he may not start a fight, but his mood will shift instantly, his presence turning firm, as though silently standing between you and whatever caused the hurt. Even in conversation, his protective side comes through. If you mention you're tired, he tells you to rest. If you say you're stressed, he encourages you in a way that feels genuine. His concern always slips through, even when he tries to hide it behind casual words. What makes it so telling is that he doesn't act this way with everyone. His protectiveness is reserved for you, the one person he notices more closely than anyone else. And while he may disguise it as kindness or politeness, the truth is clear. Every subtle action, every quiet guard he places around you, is his unspoken confession. I care about you more than I can admit, and I'll keep you safe in every way I can, whether you see it or not. He blushes or avoids eye contact when complimented. He blushes or avoids eye contact when complimented, and that reaction is often the most honest sign of all. A man who secretly likes you but hasn't found the courage to confess can handle many things. Casual talks, playful banter, even being near you. But when you turn your attention directly to him with kindness, his guard crumbles. Compliments expose his emotions in a way nothing else can, because they make him feel seen, and being seen by you is both thrilling and terrifying. You might notice his cheeks turning red, his smile turning awkward, or his eyes darting away the moment you say something nice. It's not because he doesn't like what you said, it's because he likes it too much. Deep down, he wants your approval, your admiration, but actually receiving it makes his feelings harder to hide. Looking at you in that moment might feel impossible to him, because he's afraid his eyes will reveal everything he's holding back. Sometimes he'll laugh nervously, brush off your words, or quickly change the subject, as though the compliment didn't land. But the way his voice shifts, the way he fidgets, or the way his smile lingers just a second too long betrays the truth. He treasures your words more than he'll ever admit, replaying them in his head long after the conversation has passed. This reaction is different from someone who simply dislikes attention. His shyness is specific to you. When others compliment him, he may take it casually, but when it comes from you, it hits deeper, shaking the careful balance he keeps between friendship and hidden affection. Every blush, every averted glance, every nervous laugh is his heart exposing itself against his will. In that fleeting vulnerability, his feelings surface quietly, whispering what he's too scared to say out loud. Your words mean more to me than anyone else's, because you mean more to me than anyone else ever could. He treats you differently. Compared to others, he treats you differently compared to others, and that difference is the clearest window into his hidden feelings. A man who secretly likes you but hasn't confessed can try to act casual, blending his emotions into everyday behavior. But no matter how hard he tries, the contrast will show. When you're around, something in his energy shifts, his tone softens, his attention sharpens, and his efforts become more intentional. It's not always dramatic, but it's noticeable if you pay attention. He may be friendly with everyone, but with you, there's a layer of care that goes beyond ordinary. Maybe he listens more closely to your stories than he does with others, laughs more easily at your jokes, or shows patience in situations where he might normally grow restless. He offers help before you even ask, remembers details you casually mentioned weeks ago, and seems to prioritize your comfort in ways that stand out. These differences are quiet, but they create a rhythm that separates you from the rest of the crowd. Even his body language gives him away. Around others, he might stay relaxed, but near you, he's more alert, more focused. His eyes linger longer, his smiles come quicker, and his presence feels steadier, as if he's unconsciously telling you that you matter most in the room. He may not realize it, but the way he treats you carries a gentleness, a respect, and an interest that he doesn't extend equally to everyone else. What makes this sign powerful is that it isn't tied to a single action. It's woven into the pattern of how he behaves with you versus how he behaves with others. That subtle but undeniable difference is his heart's truth peeking through. Every time he goes the extra mile for you, every time he chooses you without saying it, he's silently admitting, "You're not just another person to me. You're the one I can't stop caring about."